Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello. We haven't seen each other all day.
No, not really. Just a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
And then sitting down now.
Yeah.
It's been one of those days.
Well, I went, so you had a video thing that you had to do for work, and so you didn't want Kinsley or I coming in and out of the house. So I thought...
Because it was being recorded.
Yeah, because I thought it would be a good opportunity to go and take the trailer to the dump, because it was full, ready to be dumped. So I did that this morning, and when I was, after done going to the dump, Mister.
I love my mama. I haven't seen her all day.
We passed by the vet that the dogs go to, and Kinsley has been scratching at her ear for many days now.
Yeah.
And it was starting to look like she was getting another infection, which is pretty common for her.
She gets very frequent yeast infections in her ears.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, hang on 1 second.
Buddy.
All right, go lay down, buddy. Mama will pet you later. So, called the vet, said, hey, do you happen to have anything open today? And they did at 2:15. So I texted Katie and said, I'm just gonna stay in town until we're done with the vet. So I didn't get back until like 4. Mm-hmm. I left at 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah.
Something like that. Barely made it to the dump before they went on to lunch break.
For their lunch, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, still, we were in town most of the day. Went to Lowe's, did some returns, got some stuff. Had another incident where I had my cart full of like electrical boxes, electric wire, various stuff to continue doing the electrical work in the house. And I also needed some paint stripper. So I took the cart over to the paint aisle, parked it, was looking at all the paint stripper stuff, went and talked to the paint person. I said, hey, can you help me choose the right paint stripper? He came over and he showed me. The cart was still there, all good. And then I kept looking at all the different options because, you know, just make sure. Found the one I wanted, picked it up, turned around to put it in the cart. Cart was gone.
Right next to you, they took it?
Right next to me.
That's crazy. You would think that, is this yours?
So I'm thinking, like, because they have all of the electrical wire locked up in a cage.
Yeah.
That you have to ask an associate to get. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, shoot, did somebody just steal my cart and make a beeline out the door? Which, you know, I wouldn't be responsible for it, but I'm still like, what the heck? I head back over to the electronic aisle, or to the electrical aisle, start filling up the cart again, and the paint guy that helped me find the stripper, he comes rolling around. He goes, hey, this cart was left. I said, no, that was mine. He goes, oh, I wondered if it was yours, but you didn't come and ask me for help with the cart, so I didn't know if it was yours. So I didn't ask you. I should have asked. I'm sorry. Here you go.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty funny. So anyway, anywho. So tomorrow, Jim comes back for day number 2 of helping with the bathroom. And then that'll be done. This week is electrical week. Gonna get all the electrical pre-wiring done for the main room. Nice. Which is the living room, kitchen, dining room, both walls and ceiling. For the 3rd bedroom for the north porch that we're gonna turn into a bedroom, get wiring for that room done. Oh, I was thinking about this actually. Would you be okay, the electrical wiring in that room, you know the industrial look where you have conduit running? Would you be okay making that room kind of look industrial? She's not, okay. So I'll do the electrical work in that, pre-work in that room. The electrical pre-work for this porch right out here. And then it's insulation, which is next week. Doing insulation next week, and then after that, drywall.
Nice.
Yeah.
What?
That's right. All right, how was the weekend, honey?
Not as eventful as I had wanted it to be, meaning I did not get all my stuff done. I didn't get hardly any of my stuff done. Just had other things come up, or the weather was a little toasty. Technical difficulties is what I will say. I went out to start trimming down trees. I got through a bunch of the little ones and cleared a little area, and then when I got to the main one that I wanted to take down, I was able to take 2 of its limbs off, and then my chainsaw died, so I had to go charge that. And by the time it was charged, it was just way too hot outside. And then, it got dark, and so then I was gonna do it the next day, and ended up, I don't remember what we did instead. We did make a Lowe's trip, which took a little while. Oh, I know, and we had our brunch with friends.
Yeah, we had brunch with friends.
So that was a very long...
It was a long day.
A long day.
Plus then on the way home, we stopped at Sam's Club.
To do some shopping.
Yeah, so we left like at 8:30 in the morning, and we didn't get back until 4.
Yeah, and by that time, then it was, okay, it's the hottest part of the day, and so I was like, I'll just wait till later, and then I was like, well, shoot, now I have to do my Sunday chores and make sure all the waters are cleaned out, completely refreshed, all the food is 100% topped off, making sure everyone's good, and all of that. So by the time I was done with that, it was dark. And yeah, and we moved some baby chicks around, one mom neglected or just kind of pushed out.
The dark Brahma had 7 babies, hatched 7 eggs. The 7th one, we'll just call it number 7, it was rejected. Like the mama was not taking care of that chick at all. Just pecking at it, not letting it eat. So I ended up taking that chick. We took that chick and we put it into a brooder temporarily.
Yeah.
Right. And then we were trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do, because we don't want it just to be sitting
in a brooder
by itself.
Yeah.
Katie then mentioned that we have a broody hen, Sage, that's in a really expensive nest or egg box, the hen gear egg box,
which is hilarious because it's one of those rolling ones, and she's been broody in there for quite some time.
Sitting on 6 eggs. Somehow she's able to collect the eggs before they roll and just sits on them. So she's been in there for a while. So long story short, there were a few complications. We put her into one of the Ava Tuin's.
The temporary housings?
Yeah. And brought all of her eggs with her, gave her a nesting box with a bunch of wood chips, put her on the eggs, and then later in the evening introduced the baby chick. That was last night. And baby chick is doing great. Baby chick is sitting on top of mama, crawling under mama, getting under the wings and stuff. Mama's still sitting on the eggs. So we may choose after a while to
take the eggs
away. We'll see. But they have access to food and water, and the chick's eating and drinking, and mama's just being mama.
Yeah, because I just don't know if she was able to keep those eggs up there with her the entire time, because as I'd been collecting, there would be, every other day, there'd be like 1 egg down, and I would always see her in the nesting box, and there was never a green egg, and she's an olive egger. And so I was like, this is the weirdest thing. And so I went around to the other side and just looked at her, and super pale comb, so you could tell. I mean, and you go to move the little flaps out of the way, and she would be like, and doing that broody, the standard broody hen. And so I was like, oh, you're broody, okay. And I never picked her up. I tried to stick my hand under a little to see if she had eggs, but I was like, I'm just gonna leave her alone. But hardly ever saw her come out for food and water, and some hens are better than others with taking care of themselves.
She had a full crop when I moved her.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But she just looked like she'd been sitting, and it, pretty warm. I can't see where that would be a cool place to be sitting in a metal box.
No.
So, yeah.
Broody hens go through some serious, hardships.
They do.
To be broody, man. Yeah. They are dedicated.
Yep.
Dedicated. So I'm going to tell you the long portion of the long story short. We tried for 2 nights to get Sage to take that baby chick. The first night, I put her in that enclosure with the nesting box and the wood chips, and I only brought 1 egg over. I didn't see their other eggs. I only saw 1 egg, so I brought 1 egg over, set her on it, and she was rested. I put the baby chick underneath her, and she accepted the baby chick, put her in the fold of the wing, close the lid, put stuff on top to make it nice and dark, and then I tell Katie, hey, I just moved the chick and Sage.
Everything's all good.
Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's great. Go outside, and Winston's sitting here on the rocks, on these pebbles, so I'm sitting here just petting Winston, and all of a sudden Sage just goes running by. Now, mind you, it's dark outside.
Yeah.
And she just goes running by, racing back to where she was in the hen gear box. Like, how in the world does she get out? Well, we didn't close one of the doors.
We had caught chickens for a sale
Yeah.
earlier that day, and I was inside the coop on one side, and Nate was in a different door on the other side so that we could catch them.
Yeah. So I
And-
forgot to close the door. I didn't realize the doors were open. So she went beelining it over to where the other eggs were.
Yep.
So meanwhile, she abandoned the chick and one of the eggs. So then I thought it'd be better to do it in stages where I give her like an hour or 2 with the eggs.
Yeah, just
all
to
of the eggs.
get her acclimated into the spot.
So that worked better last night. But it was just so funny. I'm just petting, and all of a sudden this chick in the dark
flying by. And then I hear peeping,
this chicken.
I hear peeping, and the RV door opens, and Nate sticks his head and he goes, well, that didn't work. And because at first I was like, why do I hear peeping? Like, where's the chick? Because we shouldn't have had any chicks that I could hear. And I mean, mind you, this was like, what, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night?
It was dark, yeah.
Yeah, it was dark. So it was pretty funny. So we've had some interesting little adventures, I guess.
Yeah.
But things did not quite go as planned, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was still a good weekend.
It was a good weekend.
It was nice to hang out with friends. It's funny, we were driving, we met everybody in Knoxville, and we were driving, and I don't like driving on the freeways anymore, and I don't like driving through the city. I am so loving being secluded out here, even though I get lonely, but I'm like, man, I don't like driving through that stuff anymore. So I was like, ready to be home when we got to the restaurant. I'm like, okay, let's go home. I'm ready to go home. But I had a good time. Had a very good time with the friends. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So this weekend, didn't do a lot on the electrical work, but I think I showed you guys last kick that I had 6 circuits available to use. And what I ended up doing was mapping out how I'm going to use those circuits, and also measuring the length of each of the wires to see which ones I can use for the purpose that I want to use them for. So yesterday I was able to get the second series of outlets for the kitchen, the outside power for the mini split that's going to be in the kitchen, and then that was it. Was that it? I thought there was 3 that I had.
The inside kitchen.
And then we figured out how we're going to be doing all of the light switches for the kitchen and for the dining room.
Location placement.
Yeah, and the hallway, and all the complexities
and
of
what
that.
makes sense because of cabinetry, because of course, you have to account for the trim and the baseboard and stuff, and where you can place it, and then where there's studs, and then of course, just like, okay, where am I actually where's the traffic going to be coming into these rooms at? Because I've seen some really poorly placed outlets in a lot of houses that we've lived in the past, and we're like, since we have the opportunity to do this all new, okay, we walk in the door. If we walk in the door and the door opens this way, where do we want the switch? Okay, what switches do we want there? And we kind of had that conversation and walked through the whole house of where we haven't already placed the electrical. So so that's nice to be able to think to that level, that granular level of detail, and be able to
Yeah.
And hopefully we still like it after they're there and installed. Like, it didn't make sense anymore. But it seemed like it would.
Yeah, then I was trying to also go through reading through and watching videos on proper lighting for kitchens.
Yeah.
Especially with the vaulted ceiling. And there's a lot of things to consider, like you don't want to have shadows over your work areas if you have upper cabinets, which we don't. But
just in one small section.
Yeah, but it's not going to be above a work area, so it can be above the refrigerator. But you don't want to have shadows. You want to have for the square footage, you have to have so many lumens per square foot. You have to have so many lights per square foot. Your circuit can only handle so many watts. All these little details you have to kind of figure out how many lights you're going to put up in the ceiling, where you're going to put them, what angle you're going to have them, where you're going to run your wire.
What kind of wire?
What kind of wire are you going to do, or how many pendant lights are you going to do? How tall do they need to be?
Do you need a ceiling fan? Yes, no, so many things.
All of that stuff. So not a lot of work, like physical work, but a lot of pre-planning. So this week can just be smooth and just place the things, run the wire, and then be ready for installation. Whew.
Noisy chicken.
Yeah, there's a rooster that's starting to get a little brazen.
Yep. He's still hanging out with the bigger rooster, but I don't think that's going to be for much longer.
The bigger rooster's pushing him away. He's not liking.
Well, today they were all together.
Really?
As I came out to check on the dogs while you were gone and to make sure that all of the chickens still had access to cool water because it was very toasty today after my recorded session was done. I just did a panel discussion on women inspiring leadership, which you guys hear me say a lot. That's something I'm very passionate about at work, and how we can inspire and raise up the next generation of female leaders within our organization, because there's only about 27% of our entire workforce that's female. And we're very much in a male-dominated, so it's just something that is a constant in my role. It's just something that comes up a lot, and so I get picked on to do these types of calls, and this time it was recorded. So anyway, that got done, and I needed a break because being recorded on camera, when you have a live-ish audience, I could see them. They also could be on camera, and they could respond and type, so it's kind of like doing a live, I guess. And so we recorded that. That went really well. And so I came outside and I walked out, and the first thing, as soon as I come out and get to the carport, I was going to get the trike because it has the food on it, and I was just going to go do waters. 19 chickens started following me. They just all came up, and it's so funny to watch. One of these times I'm going to get a video of it because it's adorable, and anyone who has chickens probably follow them too, but it's really funny to watch them. They just they know who feeds them, and they just kind of go around following. And then I went to check on the dogs, and we give the dogs food at very odd times throughout the day, and it's really heat dependent. So I went to check, and I gave them a little snack, but they had no interest in food whatsoever, and I can't just leave their food bowls out because the chickens will eat it. We don't have, and we've talked about wanting to make a dedicated space where the dogs can get away from the chickens, and they don't have to sit there and protect their food and focus on that when they don't want to eat it, but they don't want it to go away, because we put extra vitamins, and we put, chondroitin and glucosamine, and give them probiotics, and we give them fish oil and all these extra things that go in their kibble with them. So we want to make sure that they're actually getting all of that.
We'll just finish it off. Kelp and lion mane mushroom powder.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I missed a few things. So yeah, there's a whole morning routine that the doggies get. And then usually in the evening we'll give them a fresh egg, or I'll cook something up for them just as an added little treat, again, because they eat 6 cups of food a day, yet they're very lean, and because they're very active when they're not, they sleep during the day, but at night a lot of times they're very up and active. And right now they're alerting on something,
barking at something.
Yep. So anyway, it's just, so I came out to do that, and the roosters were together, and I thought it was crazy because they were literally standing right next to each other with 17 hens all around them and pullets, different ages. And then going over to the geese and just checking on them and making sure, because I've been selling a lot of pullets lately, and so now the rooster pullet ratio in that area is very off balance. So I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna I think I'm gonna leave all of the roosters in gen pop by themselves, and I'm gonna pull all the pullets and then figure out when we can process or do something with rooster row.
Speaking of.
Yeah.
Gen pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Giveaway winners. I received an email from one of you. I may have received a second one. I haven't checked the emails today. But Metallico Ranchero, I got their email, so I'll respond to that. How to verify? I don't think we got the other one yet. But
I did see it last night, but I haven't checked today either.
Yeah. So, and then a quick update on the bear. Our neighbor sent us a video of a bear, probably the same bear. It's about 2 properties behind us, but it's in the general area.
Yeah.
And then our neighbor said that they saw one over by the convenience center off the main road.
That was, a little while ago.
Yeah, so.
It's one of our 20 bears that circle our neighborhood.
Yeah, 20. Anyway, so it's around, but we haven't caught it on trail cam on the property, even though you placed a bunch. So we'll check those.
We haven't checked.
We'll check those again later in the week, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
See, because there's been the dogs have been a lot of activity where I placed 2 of the trail cameras. So I'm hoping that I catch, I want to see what they're making noise.
Yeah,
I'm not hoping it's the bear, because that would be, I think, a little interesting. I mean, because that's like right in the middle of our main living circle. It's like our house is here, our chickens are here and here, and then where we walk and our barn is back over here, and the area is right in the middle of all of that. So that would be a very frustrating thing if that's where it decides it wants to spend a lot of time.
Yep, that would not be good.
Yeah, then we'll have to figure out how to encourage it to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
However you do that.
However you do it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure research would be involved.
Lots of loud noises.
Yeah. And he's off.
Yeah, and they're off. Okay.
So.
That's a pretty good wrap up of the weekend and what we have going on.
Woods.
Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.